Did you know that being loved is something that's destined at birth? I mean, can you believe that? For a long time, I think I felt that way too. That some people are just meant to live uneventful lives. That compared to those destined for greatness at birth, they're meant to stay at the sidelines. But one day, something unusual happened. Suddenly, the numbers became glaring and obvious, and I started to believe that hard work could change the number you were assigned. That the numbers that now appeared on the screen was proof that anyone could defy what they were destined to be. But love is given just as easily as it's taken. And if that's the case, I just need to become the one thing that's lovable because they've been rejected.
Oh, and this is a wig. Hello again. So today I have decided to... There's something wrong with them, but these days I've been getting a bit bored of the anime concept and the 2000s concept. So I wanted to try something different, do a webtoon one. The problem is, I don't read webtoons.
But I have watched dozens of shoujo anime that taught me a valuable lesson. Sometimes, despite being more obnoxious and flawed than the male lead, they're ultimately much more likable and sometimes even win in the end. I'm going to try my best to make you develop second lead syndrome after you rejected my last video, dear viewer. I'm not really sure why, but it seems that every single second male lead in existence either has light brown or blonde hair. I mean, this wig turned out pretty well, I'd say. And also had the unintentional side effect of giving me hair dysmorphia because I can never have this amount of hair density. Next, I'll have an unrealistic special interest in arcade games that's really just an excuse for you and me to hang out, to keep you away from watching other people's videos. Of course, we'll have to go on a date that isn't a date where everything is a bit awry in an endearing and tasteful way. And for my last trick, I'm going to give myself exposure therapy and do various couple date activities alone, by myself, in public so you can pity stand me. By my expert calculations, this combination of second lead syndrome inducing tropes will trick you into watching all my videos again.
I'm too self-conscious to ride on public transport, so I called an Uber, but I don't want him to like look at me. So I mean, I know it's kind of ironic that I look like this and I don't want attention, but I don't know, I'm a complex person.
Since I can't go out alone like this, I'm on my way to meet my cousin who I asked to be the surrogate Shimsue / dear viewer for today's dates. By now, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing a beanie in the middle of summer. It's because I feel like a lighthouse, and since my hair is long underneath, it makes the wig look huge and the beanie makes it look slightly less conspicuous. In the spirit of the theme, I went to a Korean restaurant with decorations that are very diverse. I haven't watched many K-dramas, but this place really gives off an arguing with my bully during the first day of university induction vibes, right? It also exclusively played music from prior to 2018, which, while is on theme for today, also made me feel very geriatric. I thought about getting ramyeon since that's like the only meal Sue and Dohwa ever shared, but if we're following canon, it would spill and give my cousin a secondary burn. Of course, I've done the arcade bit in the Frigger Arrow vlog, but this very corporate arcade was built this year, so naturally it will give off a 2014 vibe. This technically isn't one of my aesthetic vlogs, but for old time's sakes, I'll do a quick montage. Usually, I'm a fan of that washed out, dilapidated arcade vibe since it reminds me of old malls, but the super saturated neon lights are tickling my neurons as well. I'm a simple man, so I was instantly running towards the machine where all the anime figures were trapped, but we aren't here for that. To be faithful to the source material, I'm going to try my hand at shooter games that for some reason cost the same as a large bubble tea per play. You better cover this with my ad revenue, dear viewer. As you figured out by now, my lack of hand-eye coordination extends to video games, and I didn't have to pretend to be bad shooters for the sake of the concept. I was really going through it. Now, it would be thematically appropriate if I handed the toy gun to Sue, but then who would film? I also tried out the Tomb Raider game, but I'll save you from watching me play. It was boring, overpriced, and the projector was incredibly washed out. Just like Baek Do-hwa, I am not the athletic male lead type, and trying out shooting hoops was also a stressful experience where I couldn't even get one basketball in for the first minute, and just as I was starting to get a hang of it, I ended up throwing the basketball outside of the machine into a crowd of bystanders, including children and the elderly, who were likely confused as to why I was stressed like this in the summer. They'll never understand my artistry. Like a consolation prize, the machine spat up like 100 tickets. It's wasting paper! Paper that could have been used for printing my photo cards so that my dear viewers can stop DIYing them. While I was here, I was enchanted by the plushies that were oddly hung like pork at a butcher's on meat hooks, and decided to once again give in to my compulsive love of claw machines. Like a moth to a flame, I was instantly drawn to the Hatsune Miku machine where the plushies were set vaguely inappropriately. I feel like the staff here do this kind of stuff on purpose. Under the false false notion that I was inherently gifted at these games after my previous win 10 months ago, I thought it would be an easy win. It was not, and this pattern would continue for several rounds at different machines. I was suddenly caught off guard when I saw a handsome young man that was the splitting image of me trapped inside a machine, only to realize I was misled, and it was just a drawing with no little Victorian boy Cinnamoroll plushies inside. Just, I did rectify this grievous mistake afterwards and paid for this with expedited shipping. Since a confusing flashback is a genre staple, let's go back to the day before, where I attempted to spend the full day alone by myself. I went easy on myself and I got lunch at a QR code ordering restaurant at 11 a.m, where I actually ate at once alone after a doctor's appointment and was maliciously seated between two couples back then. I was mostly alone this time, but still too self-conscious to do a mukbang setup, so mostly just pretending to fix my hair in the phone to look less conspicuous. Since I had 3 hours to spare before going to movies and I didn't just want to sit inside a bathroom stall to kill time, I wandered the mall alone only to discover a mini Yu-Gi-Oh exhibition. Now, I've never really played card games since that incident when I was 6 and had a potty accident at the arcade bartering Beetle King trading cards, but that was a long time ago and I'm a different person now. Had I been in some sort of 2008 Pokemon trainer outfit, this would have been a great photo spot, but I refuse to take photos in public by myself. That's why all my posts on Instagram are selfies. I can't even check the lighting in public, it's too stressful. Anyways, feeling overwhelmed by window shopping, I took myself out to eat dessert alone at lunchtime. And as soon as I sat myself down, I was immediately greeted by my order because no one else wanted to eat pudding at noon apparently. While this was a very nice little dessert, since I just had a big lunch, I wanted to gag with every bite, but I persevered since I thought it'd be pretty to look at on video. I pre-booked my ticket online since I didn't want to talk to a part-timer and was shocked to see that there was a couple in front of me, but I didn't really have a choice and picked a seat anyways. I don't think I've been to a movie since probably 2017, and although I was initially really thankful that I could walk over to the corner and just swipe my credit card to get my ticket instead of showing my receipt, my spirits were crushed when the part-timer, a man roughly the same age as me, stopped me from going inside to where the concession stand arrow was pointing since it apparently wasn't time for my show. I still had to stand there for 20 minutes in front of him after that. It was humiliating, and I was scared of a hypothetical group of mean teenagers watching the same movie. But then I realized I was watching an R-rated movie, and they can't even get tickets. I honestly hate popcorn, but I reluctantly bought some since when else am I going to go to movies? Obviously, I couldn't film the movie, but it was actually a really pleasant experience. I knew there was a post-credits scene, but the part-timers already burst in as soon as the credits rolled, and I felt too self-conscious to stay, so I just reluctantly rushed out. This has been Yu's Day Alone. Back in the present, I wanted to recreate the ugly photo booth scene from the webtoon, and got lucky by accidentally stumbling across the tackiest photo booth I've ever seen. Rather than kitsch, I feel like there's an indescribable quality that just gets on my nerves. Usually, I hate the super HD photo booths that show all your pores, but the filter on this booth was insane and made me look like Jaffe, but without the marketability. I just realized my cousin was accidentally matching with me today, but it's kinda like we're in uniforms from the same school, so it worked out even better. I mean this in the nicest, least libelous way possible, but the photo frames and stickers that they had there just didn't feel like they had any effort put into them. While I was at this old mall, I saw some more claw machines and tried to recreate Dohwa's pose from one of the chapters, but in hindsight, the beanie makes me look like I'm wearing a yarmulke from this angle. I decided to go to a place where a prize was guaranteed and try my luck at the gachapon for Cinnamoroll Sonatoy, only to get Pochako. When will this campaign of injustice against me end, dear viewer? In the spirit of the webtoon, I went out looking for a jar of banana milk, only to find a juice carton with a picture of a jar printed on it, and reluctantly purchased it anyways. Before heading to the park to pretend to treat an injury that you can pretend I accidentally caused while running to my part-time job, only to discover that I despise banana milk and whatever unnatural yellow cow produced it. Thank you to Amy Louisi, Lavi Himawari, Jihyo Kinesis, Bagide, Levi, Zeno, Annette Moriori, Cod, Hani, and any members that didn't choose to have a shout out. And of course, all my Fruitiger Daenerys here members as well. With so many of you, I think we can finally make our way to regionals and beat Vocal Adrenaline. If you too would like to become a member and have benefits like using custom emojis, your very own avatar featured in my videos, exclusive polls and previews, as well as 24-hour early access to my videos depending on which tier you purchase, then please consider joining my membership, and I will see you again soon.